Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a tiny home build in a new series of builds I plan to do, which is funny because I keep starting these and never finishing them. But this time I plan to because I'm kind of excited about it. So I plan to build different styles of houses using just one color. And today's house is in the modern style and the color I chose is white. So I tried to use only the white swatch of everything. There are a few pops of color because at times it just couldn't be avoided, like the artwork and the plants, because I simply could not use those. But I really hope you like this build. The structure of the home is very simple. It's just these two boxes with some supports like pillars to hold up the platform roof that I put on it, and it's got two or three inset windows, window bay boxes that I put some plants in. I think this house would go really well in Mount Kohlrabi from Snowy Escape, which I haven't decided if I'm going to upload the houses one at a time or in one big batch, because I plan to make 8 of them. At least I think that's how many plots I put on this lot, which by the way is located in Gibby Point. I haven't built in this world yet or played in it, and is this the first time I am actually doing that, and I'm doing it with this nonsense that I have going on. But as you can see, the home is coming together. I am putting the windows on right now. I'm just using these base game big glass paneled windows, and then I used a sliding door from the base game as well for the front door. I tried a few options, but the sliding door just seemed to fit, and also it kind of went with the style of the home. And then I will be putting some stairs down, and we will be skipping into the landscaping. I just do a couple trees here. These ones are from Cats and Dogs, using the white swatch because I did try to use just plants that had white on them, and these were the 2 trees that came up, aside from apparently the ones from Movie Hangout stuff, which I think it might just be the lanterns hanging from them that make it considered the white swatch. But the tree was pink and purple and blue and green mostly, so I didn't use those ones. And then I am just using these bushes with these little white daisies on them, and we are going to be skipping forward to the inside of the house. I did have to cut out a lot of it because there was a lot of trial and error getting the stairs to work how I wanted, and basically just deciding on what wallpapers and floors to use on the inside. I didn't want it to look too clinical, but that's kind of hard to accomplish when you are only using white. So I basically used tiles downstairs and used wood floor upstairs to hopefully make the upstairs feel warmer because it is the bedroom space. And then my idea for the Sims that lived in this house kind of developed over the course of building this home. I imagined that there were at least 1 or 2 Sims who worked here, who live here, and they're very neat and they are very well read. There's a lot of books, and I figured one had a job in the medical field and the other was kind of like a yoga instructor slash fitness guru. And in their spare time, they like to play games together. So there is a game console downstairs and some controllers. I had a lot of fun with this build, and I can't wait to build the other homes. I've already got plans to make the next one and what it's going to be, and I'm really excited about it. I just need to figure out if I am going to place it next door to this one or if I'm going to place it on one of the other lots around to like spread them out a little bit. But we are decorating the bedroom slash I guess office space because there is a computer up here. And this is where I find out that there is not a lot of just plain white artwork, and I use these paintings from Snowy Escape on the wall because they were the most, I guess, true to the color scheme that I was going for. And then I use these plants from Tiny Living, and then I use these wall lights a lot. I don't think I've ever really used those all that often. I think they're from Spa Day. They're just little square lights. They were quite simple and matched the modern aesthetic that I was kind of going for. And then we will be using this desk from Snowy Escape as well. The computer is going to be from City Living. Yeah, and then I put a bookcase over here, and then you will watch me struggle trying to put one on top, not realizing that it just won't go there because the wall does not go all the way up. And then I eventually give up and realize that it's just not going to work, so I move on to cluttering up the space. I put a mug down, I put an open book, a plant, and then some just miscellaneous clutter around the space to make it not feel too cluttered, because like I said, I think these Sims are like kind of neat and pristine, which again, living in a white house probably is a good idea to be a clean and neat Sim. So I didn't think that they would have too much clutter around. They liked stuff to be organized and in its place. But that is pretty much it for upstairs. I'm just going to put a few more stuff on this dresser, and then we will be moving downstairs to furnish the kitchen, dining room, and living room. Straying from the build for a minute, I wanted to say that I planned to have this up last week, but I have been bitten by the Tomodachi bug. That game has consumed my entire life. I even stopped reading my book to play it. I never got to play the DS version of the game, so when I found out it wasn't a Switch 2 exclusive and ran okay on the regular Switch, I kind of jumped on it. And I have been lost in the sauce ever since. I basically lost an entire week of my life to this game. My island is almost at level 100, and I have basically, I wouldn't say speed running the game, but like I just literally can't stop. You think you're just going to play the game for maybe like 30 minutes to an hour, and suddenly it's 3 hours later and you've made 7 other Miis and you've had so many things just happen on your island. Like for instance, Edward Cullen and Taylor Swift are married on my island. I did try to make Edward and Bella fall in love, but Bella just was not interested in Edward as much as I wanted them to. Instead, he was more interested in Taylor Swift. So him and Taylor Swift are married now. Then I put Jacob on the island because I was like, fine, if Edward doesn't want Bella, maybe Jacob will. Bella and Jacob got married. I also have Chicken Little on my island and Flick from Bug's Life. I really honestly can't explain why they came to my head when I was making these, but they did. I think for Chicken Little, I was trying to make Joey for my Animal Crossing island, and he was just looking really, really scary. And then all of a sudden, Chicken Little just popped in my head, and then it just kind of happened. Flick from Bug's Life, though, was kind of just a funny thought I had in my head, and I made it happen. I also made me and my boyfriend, and he fell in love with me at first sight, so that was pretty exciting. And we're currently married. I'm afraid, though, we're going to get divorced or something because my me is just happy, whereas his me is falling, what is it, like soulmates or something? So I'm very worried about that. I also have this me named Carl. I used like the random thing on him, and they are so lovesick. I have been dropping Carl in front of different Miis, and he has fallen in love with 3 of them, I think. One of them, the crush that he had on them, I think disappeared. But Carl did fall in love with Dr. Draken pretty hard. I was rooting for them and Dr. Draken. And then Dr. Draken rejected him. And I was devastated for them. I felt so bad. So I sent Carl on a trip. They came back. All was good and dandy. And then they hadn't met Reggie from Rocket Power yet. So I kind of picked Carl up and dropped them in front of Reggie, and love at first sight with Reggie. I was like, oh no, here we go again. I was rooting for him. And then Reggie picked somebody else. And once again, devastation for Carl. I'm hoping that he finds love with someone. I really want them to just find that one true love on my island. I just don't think I've created the me for them yet. I also have Muriel from Courage the Cowardly Dog on there, and Madam Foster from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. I was trying to get them to fall in love. Didn't really work. Oh, also, Madam Foster did have love at first sight with Edward Cullen, and then Edward that same day was going to ask Taylor Swift to be his girlfriend, and Dr. Draken was also super hardcore crushing on Edward. Um, so when it came time for him to ask Taylor Swift out, Draken and Madame Foster both showed up and said, "I'm in love with you, Edward. Please pick one of us." And Edward obviously picked Taylor Swift, and Draken and Madame Foster were devastated. And I made them take a picture in the Ferris wheel because I thought it was really funny. So needless to say, I'm having a blast and creating so much chaos. And honestly, I can't wait to see which one of my married couples has a baby first. I am just having the time of my life with that game. I wish I could record it and make a video about everything that's happened, but again, I do not have a capture card for my Switch. The only option would be to transfer everything from my Switch and like record the videos on there and transfer it to my computer, but I just do not have the time for that, nor do I have the patience for that. But anyways, back to this build. We are furnishing the living space now. I just finished up with the kitchen and we are doing the dining space. As you can see, I used a picture. I believe it's from the Moschino stuff pack. It does have a little yellow in it. Again, finding that artwork was really hard, but I feel like that yellow was a little more subtle. So it was perfectly fine to hang up in here. It wasn't like blatantly obvious that it was yellow. I'm currently trying to pick out a couch, and that was really difficult with the limited white couch options that actually looked comfortable and kind of fit the aesthetic that I was going for, which was modern. And these were the only ones that I personally would sit on and lay on and lounge on. I put a stereo over here. I put some more bookcases from the Book Nook kit. I used the frame TV from that, was it like the Christmas event like a couple years ago? I used this light from Book Nook kit as well. I was thinking about using the one from Businesses and Hobbies, but I didn't. I swapped it out instead. Don't know why, but I think the Book Nook one looks really good. And then I'm just putting up more of these curtains from Desert Looks because it was the only white curtains that I thought also fit the aesthetic. And then you will notice that when I go to these screenshots, the curtain rod is very much up in the ceiling along with the tops of the kitchen cabinets. It personally doesn't bother me because I don't play like that. So it should be fine in gameplay. If it really does bother you that much that they clip into the ceiling, you can just move them down. But that was the only place where they snapped where it looked kind of natural to be above the window. And then over here on this little coffee table, I put a candle. I put some book clutter, and then on this side table is when I put another lamp and figured that I would get the gaming console out and get the controllers out. But with all these candles and these lightings, I was trying to make this space feel warmer with the rugs and the lighting choices, because I do feel like the vibes from upstairs and the vibes from downstairs just kind of clash a little bit. So I was trying to bring the warmth from upstairs downstairs, and I think I did a pretty good job. I mean, I lived in Texas for a little bit and we just had tile in our entire downstairs, so it was very cold feeling. So we tried to like liven it up with rugs and like warmer toned furniture, but since this is a color challenge, I can't use warmer toned furniture, so I was hoping maybe the candles and the lighting and the rugs kind of did the trick. And then over here by the front door, I put a small entry table from, I believe that's from Dream Home Decorator. I used a plant from, I think that's the Grange Mudroom. I could be wrong. And then this is where I got the idea for the Fitness Guru by getting out this rolled up yoga mat and this workout equipment. And then I also put a no shoes sign on the table because I feel like it just makes complete sense. Because honestly, driving the point home, could you imagine all the dirt that would appear in this house? You'd literally be cleaning every single day. It sounds like a nightmare, and not a house that I would want to live in, but it's The Sims, and unless you have Bust the Dust, this house is never going to get dirty. So it is okay. And then on the other side of the front door, I tried to make a picture happen. I tried to make something happen over here, and it was quite difficult. I tried to make a gallery wall with the burglar alarm, which was fun. um, it was a big mess and a process, but I do eventually get there in the end. I do end up using a picture from the Pastel Pop Kit, and I end up putting a plant from Businesses and Hobbies over here, and then I get rid of the plant in the corner by the dining table, and I get rid of both of the chairs at the end of the dining table and put one of them over there, so it looks like you can drag it over the table when you have at least 5 people eating. Because it just made more sense to have less chairs at the table, because I just don't think you'd be having that many Sims over. I just don't think these Sims in general have that big of a friend group. If anything, they maybe have like 2 or 3 really good friends, and that's it. But that is pretty much the end of this build. I will include my gallery info at the end in case I decide to upload this to the gallery before I post the next build. If not, you'll probably see all of them when they are done. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!